welcome back to the Black Celebration. I feel like I have not recorded it. I feel like I have not recorded in, I don't even know how long because it has been a while. This is Mental Health Awareness Month. I have been taking care of myself. We have an amazing therapist on the show tonight. This is Miss Erica Taylor, my really good friend, business consultant. And Erica is a licensed clinical social worker supervisor with over 10 years of experience. Mm-hmm. I've known you for about, 5 of those years now?
Yeah, about 5.
Yes. Erica does amazing experience in the community. She works in school. She has her own private practice, tailor-made. And then she also speaks at different conferences. She also speaks on different podcasts. So, Erica, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm so glad we get to have this conversation because we talk about mental health all the time. Pause. Yeah, so this table is not connected.
All right, cool. All right, let me put my hands down.
So we talk about mental health all the time, so it's only right that I had you on the show for this episode so that we can discuss even more in depth about how we help the community, why we do, and just some of our own mental health and stuff like that. So we are doing a throwback of a bottle we've had previously. This is the McBride sister. It's a Brut Rosé. Erica is going to do the honors. The last time I did it, the whole bottle, girl, all the stuff just poured all over the place. Yeah. That's it. I love that sound.
It make you happy, right?
It does. It sounds like the celebration.
Let's see.
So
you can keep talking while I pour.
Yeah. Always on the Black Celebration, we live by the EMC lifestyle: educate, mitigate, celebrate. So that is what we're doing tonight when it comes to mental health. We are going to talk about some things to educate you guys, kind of mitigate some of those stereotypes that they give Black people when it comes to mental health, and then also celebrate the many, many Black therapists. I've just seen so many Black therapists doing amazing things in...
Man, we're growing, for sure.
Absolutely.
Like, definitely. When I can think about 10 years ago, it was no Black therapists.
None.
At least not a lot of them that you saw all the time.
Anyway. We weren't visual.
Yeah.
Like, we were not the face of companies. We didn't have a lot of our own practices. And if we did, there were not a lot of advertising. It seemed like back then it was really hard to find a Black therapist.
It was. I think like social media has helped a lot, like put Black therapists out there, but it definitely is growing and it continues to grow. I mean, I love to see it because we need it.
We definitely need it.
Yeah.
Okay, what you think? Did you take a sip already?
I didn't take a sip.
I know, friend, you like juice, so if I need to get you some juice.
It's pretty good.
It's a Brut.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I mean, it's a rosé, so it has
it's not too dry. It's good. It's good.
Okay, so let's start in why you chose social work and mental health. Because social work, you can do so many things.
You can, for sure.
But you narrowed it down to mental health. So why?
So I always tell people, I think I've been doing therapy my whole life. You know how you have this role within your family, like everybody expects you to help fix everything or like help everybody calm down. And like that's just been my role with my friends, with my family, like forever. But with social work, I initially started with nursing because I felt like, I'm just be like my mama. But then didn't get into nursing school and had to like reroute. So I kind of fell into social work just as let me do something where I don't lose all my credits and I can keep my scholarship. And so, but when I got in there, I found out like all the stuff that you could do. And so my 2 interests have always been medical social work and working with kids. So throughout my career, I always did something with one or the other. But I think with therapy, it just felt natural. Like I do it on a daily basis. I might as well get paid for it.
Yeah.
You know, so I just kind of fell into it.
You know, it's definitely, everybody plays a role, like you said, in a family and friend group. And I feel like I have always been that friend that people tell things to. Mm-hmm. And I forget what they tell me. So no one can ever say, well, Michelle told somebody because I never told.
Forgot. Like, the conversation over and you forgot.
Because so many people tell me things and it's like, I forget all this stuff. And then now, being a therapist, I tell my friends all the time, Baby, you can tell me all you want to tell me, but I have clients and I have to write notes because I cannot keep up with all of that.
Yeah, it's a lot for sure. I think now I have to tell them like, yeah, I just got off of work. Like, I can't with you today. But I used to be that friend, like, we'll sit on the phone for you hours. We're going to think about 15 different ways to come up with, a way to fix this problem. And I don't have the time no more. But yeah, that was me for sure.
I can relate to that. I think I got into wanting to help kids though, because I had different people in my family that I felt, okay, if they had somebody in the community to help or somebody in their school to help, then maybe they wouldn't have taken some of the routes they took. Okay. And so that really is what kind of catapulted me into working with children and then specifically in schools. Because let's talk about this. Our Black kids don't always get the services they need.
They do not.
What do you feel like that comes from?
So I think just traditionally, Black families, we kind of are raised to keep everything in your house. What goes on in your house, stay in your house. So a big part of that is just that, like, they've never been taught to speak about issues or reach out for the help. So I'm not even sure that it's 100% that there are a lack of resources in some regards. I think sometimes they just don't access it because they feel like, I'm not going to tell people my business. And there weren't a lot of Black therapists, so I'm definitely not going to tell white people my business, right? Correct. Or things like that. So I think part of it is that. But then, I tell people all the time, when I was younger, I don't recall being asked how I felt about stuff. Like, adults made decisions. Kids did what they were told. It was no, how do you feel? So I think just generationally, we're not conditioned to talk about our feelings, to go to therapy, to try to get different strategies. We just adjust and think that we're resilient and we just move on.
Ooh, the word resilience, girl, it just, it penetrates my heart because I want Black people to stop focusing on being so resilient.
And that's why I said we think that we're resilient, right? Like, no, really, we just stuffed it down and it's coming out in other areas of our lives and stuff. But, we think that we resilient and we just bounce back and it didn't bother us.
Correct.
Yeah, that's
what trauma does to a person is more than just getting through it. Like, it's not a thing where you can just say, all right, well, this happened and I'm going to pray it out and then it's over. I'm going to get through it because tomorrow's another day. You wake up and you go.
Yeah.
We've had this conversation. Okay, so for everybody that doesn't know, Erica and I met at an organization that we worked together at. And there was a group of Black therapists. All of us would have different kind of conversations. And one of the conversations that we talked about was people's jawline. Do you remember that conversation where we talked about people's...
Yes, and how it was associated with mental health.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, for those that don't know, in our bodies, depending on what area you are from, a person's facial structure can be different. And what we found out and read about was that trauma for some people, and in particular, we're talking about Black people, has created certain jawline issues. So they'll go to the dentist and their dentist will tell them that they can tell that they've been like clenching their jaws.
Grinding their teeth.
And that's because of trauma that we've been through. And so Black people just don't understand how that trauma that we've been through, since the beginning of this country, what it's done to us.
Yeah, a lot for sure. And like you say, we talk about going to the dentist, we just think, we just grinding our teeth. We never associate it with trauma. Yeah. And that's why I can't sleep or I hold my mouth so tight when I sleep subconsciously.
Correct.
Yeah.
So when it comes to working with children, what do you find to be some of the biggest hurdles or issues that you run into?
The number one issue is parents. Number one issue is parents. For a variety of different reasons. I think sometimes people are parenting from a place of trauma. They haven't spent the time dealing with their own stuff and they're kind of passing it down, sometimes even taking it out on their children. And I'm not even just talking about like in a physical abuse type situation, but just they aren't whole. So it's hard for them to allow their child the freedom to be able to express themselves and communicate because they haven't dealt with their stuff.
Correct.
Either that's one side of it, or the other side of it is maybe they're not involved, and they feel like their parents don't care because they're working a lot. A lot of single parent moms, like, it's not that they don't want to be there. Like, they literally are at work.
Right.
So they're missing out on a lot of those conversations and a lot of those, family dinners or different things like that where you can actually get to talk to your kids. So that's the biggest challenge with kids. The other side to that is getting them to open up and developing that rapport, like to be able to trust me as an individual. It's tough because, like I said, don't tell people your business.
Right.
And why should they trust Erica? Like, they don't know me,
right. So what do you find to be the interventions that help with parents and getting children to open up and things like that?
With parents, I would say the biggest thing is being relatable, like letting them know you understand them, because I think sometimes in the school system, parents can be the victims. They can be targeted as though they're not trying. And so the social work side of us, which is different than psychology in a sense, is that we're kind of trained to figure out all the stuff that's going on in the house first.
Right.
And so because we do that, like, we can understand, mom's a single mom. It's a lot of information that we can find out initially to bring to the table that will help connect with that parent and help them know, we're actually here to help and not like take your child from you, what they think social workers do, right? We taking kids. So I think that's the biggest way you can connect with them. And then if they see their child act better, that's automatic way they're gonna be supportive of what you're doing. So if you can help their child, if you can help the teacher stop calling their phone, then that's gonna be a plus for you. Yeah.
I think that when I'm working with parents, especially in the schools, one thing that I always let my parents know is that I'm your advocate. That's the social work side of us, is that I'm not only here to listen to what the school told me and just have therapy with your child and not also try to help you in some way, right? I want you to know that I'm here for you and your child. The other thing is that, like you said, finding out additional things that are going on. Because what I've seen and, with us working together is people want to bring all these interventions like mindfulness or things like that to children in inner city. And I'm gonna say, to the point of where we've worked with Black kids that are economically challenged. So they're not even eating food every night at home.
And then you want them to sit there.
Yeah, nobody's talking about mindfulness when they come to school. Like, they cannot escape, in those moments because they have so many other things that they're worried about. So just to say to kids, oh, we understand all the trauma you're going through at home, but let's do mindfulness in the classroom. That doesn't work. So I try to be an advocate also to have interventions that work for the kids that I work with. But something else you said earlier was about Black therapists. So changing gears a little bit, because you work with adults also. I hear a lot of people say that they need a Black therapist. How do you feel about that?
So I disagree. I don't think that your therapist needs to be the same color, but I get it, right? So like, people feel like if I'm a Black woman and I get a Black woman as a therapist, somehow we're going to have this connection and it's going to be better, right? That's the thought process. No different than when you work in a certain environment, you typically gravitate towards people of your same race, just because you feel like maybe they get you a little bit better. Absolutely. So it's more so that mindset. While I get that, I don't think it's necessary. You need a good therapist. It doesn't matter if they're Black, whatever. I tell people all the time, my therapist is a white man, and he's a middle-aged white man, and he's been my therapist for 10 years, and we've done a lot of work together. But I didn't need him to be Black to understand me. I did need him to be conscious of the fact that I'm Black and stuff that I may go through as a Black woman. But beyond that, like, I needed him to just know what he was doing. But I think, people say that because, they want somebody that they think relates to them. So even me, majority of my clients are Black female just because they think, oh, Erica's going to get me. Now, then when we talk, they might wish they had somebody else sometimes because I'm just going to tell you what's right, not because I'm Black female, But I get it.
So I feel the same way. Okay, listen. So it's several things with that. First thing is, I try to explain to people, you don't necessarily need to connect with your therapist.
Sure, not in the way of a friend, yeah.
Right. That should not be the goal of, let me go in here and connect with my therapist, because it's not a friend relationship, right? And they're not there just to listen to you, but help guide you through something. The other thing is, I get most of my clients because we're Black, right? And so they're probably looking for a Black therapist to work with their Black kids. So I am all for it. We need our coin. Please continue.
Right.
However, when searching for a therapist, unless it's just dealing with race issue, I think that there are a lot of good therapists out there that can help guide you in other ways. Like for me, for instance, I'm a single woman. And I have several different therapists for different things. That's just the way I function. Because I see a dentist for my teeth. I see an OB, for being a woman. I see a PCP for just my regular. So it's the same thing for therapists. I compartmentalize what issues. So I have a therapist that I see. It is a white lady. She's married. I go to her when I want to talk about being a single Black person. That's why I don't want to go to another single Black female because
she may bring some of her own personal stuff into there.
Yeah,
right?
So I think that we know that as therapists, like we know about counter transference and transference and all of that. But so to our listeners, when you're looking for a therapist, you should not be looking for yourself or looking for your mom or your aunt. You are looking for a qualified professional to help you through
your issue. Yeah. And you always get that question like, are you a parent? I don't have to be a parent though to like be able to help you through this issue. But I think, like I said, I think it's natural to like want to connect with somebody who's like you. But you're right. You don't necessarily need them to be like you. You need them to be well versed in what your issue is.
Correct.
But you also gotta, part of that too, people come into it like they want somebody to co-sign on the wrong, and that could be part of the reason why you look for somebody who's like you, right? Because you feel like if I'm the angry Black girl and I get a Black girl, maybe she gonna tell me that I'm right. Exactly. So, I get why people do it, but it's not necessary. It's totally not necessary.
It's not. I referenced this to someone the other day. They were telling me the exact same thing. I'm a Black woman. I need a Black therapist that's gonna be like my aunt or my grandmother. And I was saying, if you go to the doctor and they gave you a diagnosis of cancer, do you need the doctor to also have cancer for you to go to him?
That's a really good example. No, you don't.
No, you just
need them
want
to know about cancer.
You want them to know about cancer. And it's the same thing about, like you said, they asked, do you have children? No, but I've studied and I've worked with children. This is actually my expertise. This is an area that I have studied in so much, and I've seen results in children that I do not have to have born my own children to. So anyway, to the point. But going on to the next thing, when it comes to being a therapist, seeing your clients, how do you work through those moments where you can tell a client is wanting validation for their behavior or they're needing you to be on their side? Like, how as therapists do we work through that?
I think it's challenging. I would tell you the number one review that I get from my clients is that I'm straightforward. They always say things like, if you're looking for somebody that's sugar-coated, Erica's not your therapist. When I first heard that, I used to think, dang, like, am I being too rude or too forward? But I also looked at it like, I'm not the one to coddle you. If that's why you came to therapy, because you wanted somebody to be like, oh, well, that's okay. Like, no, I'm here because I think that you can go to the place that you want to go to, take your life to the place you want to go to, and I'm here to help you get there, not help you rest in this space where you out of line, but you're not ready to move, right? And so I always tell people, finding a good therapist or finding a therapist is just like finding a hairstylist. Like, you got to kind of go through a couple of them probably before you find somebody. But I think the biggest way that you kind of work through that is just be you, right? Like, I don't think there's one way to do therapy. I think that's why we need more. So whatever your natural personality is, the way that you are, those clients who are for you won't miss you. That's how I look at it.
Right.
So whatever your natural personality is, go with that, you know? And if it doesn't work, like, I'm never offended if somebody chooses someone else. I want them to get somebody who works for them, but it has to be a mutually good connection, you know?
Right.
So
when you see the clients that come in, what do you feel like as a Black community our main issues are, or the things that we need to address as a people as a whole when it comes to our mental wellness?
Trauma, for sure. And we don't even recognize it as trauma because a lot of times we're used to functioning in dysfunction. So trauma is a big thing. Dealing with childhood issues, what parents did or did not do, things that happened in your childhood, and also relationship trauma. That's a big one that I get a lot. People who having relationship issues, dating issues, because they haven't resolved the trauma from the last one. It's a lot of heartbreak. It's a lot of disappointment.
Right.
A lot of infidelity. I get a lot of that. So all of those things, typically the childhood issues, the relationship issues lead to things like depression, anxiety, right? So at the root of that, they may come and say, oh, I've been depressed. But typically at the root of that, there's some type of dysfunctional relationship, whether it be parental or family relationships or, you know, platonic relationship, romantic relationships. It's something at the root of that depression that I see with our people a lot. And so just dealing with that, like, in a healthy way. I always talk about being a single Black woman over 30, you know, it's a whole stereotype, like something wrong with you, and just this whole notion that you got to get married to be whole, right? So I deal with a lot of that with a lot of the clients too.
Right.
Yeah.
So when it comes to those issues, what do you feel like as Black people we need to be doing outside of therapy? Like, we obviously coming to therapy is the major thing that's going to help us work through that. But what are some of the things that we need to be doing at home as well? Because what I try to tell people all the time, especially when I work with my teenagers, this is a two-way street. We have to work together.
Yeah.
So while we work during therapy, I need you to be working outside of therapy as well. So what are some of the things that you see we need to be doing outside?
So you're right. Therapy only works if you do. I tell my clients that all the time. It only works if you do. Doesn't matter if we talk about it. You got to go home and do some work. So part of that work is whatever you grow is going to feed. Whatever you feed is going to grow, I should say. So if you listen to certain music, if you only hang around certain people, if you only do certain things, this is what manifests in your life. So I tell people things like making sure you're reading. You know, you can read audiobooks, whether you read a paper book or audiobook. Feed yourself with the encouragement, with the empowerment, with the lessons that you are trying to, you know, implement into your life. So I think everybody should be reading something or listening to some type of reading. Be careful with the music that you're listening to.
Correct.
Developing a good self-care regimen, you know, whether that looks like massages or just days where you do nothing, right? I think COVID taught us the biggest lesson. Like, sometimes we just need to sit down. We don't even have to have an event every week that we're going to. So just little things like that. You have to have a good self-care routine.
Right.
And whatever that looks like, that can mean for you as a person, that's huge. And also just having more transparent conversations. Make expressing your feelings the norm. Like, we're just in a season where when people express their feelings, it's almost like something's wrong with them, you know, like just for communicating. Like, honest and direct communication is like offensive to a lot of people.
Correct.
We got to normalize that. Like, and so just kind of getting in your friend groups and having those authentic, transparent conversations. If somebody does something that you don't like, or just talking about issues, you know, just really being able to express yourself outside of therapy.
So I think that's an amazing point, is being able to communicate well. And the way that, with especially working with children, because I only work with kids. I don't want to work with the adults at all. With my kids, the major thing that I'm talking to them about is identifying their feelings. Because you cannot communicate with people if you cannot identify it even with yourself. Right. So the major thing is identifying your feelings, because what I find is that a lot of people, whether children or not, go to being mad, sad. Like, those are their main feelings that they, when really you might be disappointed with somebody. You really had high expectations of that person. Yeah. They did not meet the expectation, and now you're disappointed. But you think it's anger, and it's not. You're not really mad at them. You're disappointed. Or just there may be moments where you're just content and you don't really understand what contentment means. Like it feels odd because you're not either elevated or your feelings aren't in a lower level. So it's like helping my kids to understand how to identify their feelings. So we talk about that a lot, and I ask them to, during the week when we're not meeting, to start identify their feelings and things that happen, and then we talk about that.
Yeah.
But I'm in total agreement with that. Making sure self-care is in place. Okay. So with that, as a therapist, how do you take care of yourself? Because
it's a lot.
We talk to people
all day. All day. So part of what I had to do is start guarding my time. So being intentional about there's just certain times I'm not going to answer the phone, and communicating that to people, my friends and my family. Like I need a break. I can't get off of work and then talk to everybody else about their problems, right? So guarding your time, carving out time where it's just me. I also start putting like days where I do nothing on the calendar. So it might be 3 weeks from now on Saturday, I'm not doing nothing. Like don't invite me to nothing. Like I'm not doing anything. Also, traveling for me is good. Just to get out of my city. Because I feel like when I'm at home, I can always think of something that needs to be done, whether it's cleaning or something. So just getting out of my space, out of my house is good for me, even if it's just a road trip or something like that. So traveling is good. I also do regular massages. I feel like, I know I carry my tension in my shoulders. And so I try to schedule a massage once a month. And just surrounding myself with good people. Like I really feed off other people's energy, especially authentic spaces where I know I can be myself and then I can communicate about my feelings. So those are like some tips that I typically do. I also like baths. I feel like baths are very relaxing with candles, good music. So try to do that at least once a week. That's pretty much like my self-care routine. Just having to be really cognizant of not talking to other people outside of doing therapy, so trying to really cultivate relationships where we're just having fun and I don't have to worry about them bringing a lot of drama, into my personal time.
So you mentioned earlier that you have a therapist. Right now I only have 2 therapists. At one point I had 3 because like I told you, I compartmentalize all of the different things. But right now I have 2. When do you feel like, or when do you know it's time for you to check in with your therapist or that you need to?
So at the very least, I see my therapist once a quarter. The very least. That's, saying that everything is going relatively well in my life. I just need to check in, once a quarter. But as major events have transpired in my life, like, losing my aunt or, going through a divorce or different things like that, like there have been times where I need to see them weekly because I'm just trying to process what's going on. So I always tell people, at the very least, you should see your therapist twice a year, just like you see your dentist, right? You see your dentist twice a year, you should see your therapist twice a year, very least. But if things are going on, like with COVID, it just was a lot for a lot of people. I certainly was very busy, but my therapist was too, and it was just a lot going on. So I needed to speak to him more often. It varies. I would say if things are going on in my life, maybe every other week, I will go.
Right.
Worst case is once every 3 months.
Okay. So let me say something. You mentioned COVID, and I'm smiling so hard because I remember there was one day, everyone knows it was just an odd time, and rightfully so. I am an overanalyzer. I'm gonna press pause because this thing just. You see how big mine is? That's how loud.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Sorry, Corey. Okay, so I'm laughing really hard because I remember one day, it had to be like May last year. This might be the very day. I don't know because we're recording in May right now. Yeah. But they extended the stay-at-home order. And
you thought you was going to die?
Girl, I just couldn't take it anymore. I was like, I cannot. Like, what is happening to the world? And I just remember, so I'm already a loud person. We were just talking about that earlier. But I just remember like yelling no because I was tired of it. Like,
you just wanted to be outside.
I just wanted to be outside. Like, I want to go see my mama. I want to go see my dad. Like, what is happening? I want to see my friends. We FaceTime every day now. Like, you know?
Yeah.
So, and I don't like FaceTiming all the time. So, anyway, what helped me in that moment was, one, I immediately reached out to my therapist. I texted sis, because like I said, I have different therapists. So the therapist that I see for like my everyday type of issues that I just need to work through, maybe even work things, is a Black woman. Mm-hmm. So I text her and I just said, I need to get in whenever you have an opportunity. Virtual is fine. But the next thing that helped me was I wrote out a list of therapists for people in the city of Dallas.
And I remember you putting out that list. Yeah, yes. I posted it.
It took me 3 hours to do that list, but it helped me because it took my mind off of staying in the house and like placed me somewhere else. So I say that to say, I think a part of also recognizing when you need to reach out for help is when you notice yourself getting to that point of out of the ordinary being upset. Yeah. Like, that's out of my ordinary. I don't be in my house yelling. Like, I have music on loud and I don't even sing loud, you know?
Yeah.
So in that moment, I knew like something is different. And so what people need to also do is be in tune with themselves. You have to really know yourself. What is your norm? I talked about this on another platform. Just even when it comes to eating, are you overeating? Are you under eating right now? Are you completing your ADLs? I think there were so many people I talked to and they was like, I ain't changed clothes in like 3 days.
Yeah, because we were just sitting in the house in tights and stuff. Like,
yeah, like
just chilling.
So, during that time, it was a real odd time. But as things have started to pick back up, you're back in your routine. It's still very important for you to know your body and know what your norms are, because I don't like the word normal when it comes to the general pop. Yeah. But I do feel within yourself you have a normal practices.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's the same thing I tell parents all the time. I want you to pay attention to your child's norms. Because kids are gonna tell you when there's something going on with them.
Because they'll act different.
They will act different. And it's the same thing for people, that are adults. So anyway, that's my tidbit about it. That's how I know when it's time for me to go to therapy. When I start getting a little cuckoo in here, that's when it's like, all right.
Sometimes too, like things will pop up like in conversations with other people, and then it's just so much on the news, Lord. It was just a lot going on with the news too. But sometimes other things will trigger parts of me that I thought I healed from, right? Like I'm having conversations with people and they say certain things, or I'm meeting new people and they say or do certain things, and I'm like, yeah, I thought I was over that, but that still make me feel some type of way. So maybe I need to talk to somebody about that, because you have to really be able to decipher between when you've healed from something or when you just try to make yourself forget.
Right.
And if I was healed, it wouldn't have triggered me like that, right? So that's what makes me think, okay, maybe I need to go back and revisit this conversation with my therapist.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I think a lot of us suppress things just naturally, like we talked about earlier. As Black people, we have the saying, what happens in this house stays in this house. And it didn't even have to be anything major,
It didn't, yeah.
I can just remember, things that I thought was minor as a kid. And I will never forget, my mom told me, Lord, she probably don't care now, but my mom told me that she had surgery. And we got to church, and I told everybody that Mom had surgery.
And she was mad.
And she was like,
why you telling my business?
Why you telling people that? But kids they gonna run their mouth. But in my head, I'm thinking like, it was surgery. But I think that after that, it taught me like, you don't tell anybody anything. Because to me, it was like, I didn't think that was major. Like, she's okay, she's healthy. That's a good thing. We prayed about this, right? That's what I'm thinking. But it was something that she didn't want everybody.
Yeah. And I think that's like the misconception is that you're not telling your business. You're talking about how you feel about the business, right?
You're
so that's
sharing.
Different. Exactly. So it's not like I'm telling people what my mom and daddy did. I'm telling them how I felt because they never asked me. And the reality is if they did ask me, I'm not sure if I would have been completely honest because I have to worry about that person's reaction or just, retaliation. Ain't no telling, And so I always tell people therapy is the one place in this world I can be 100% myself. I can say whatever I want to say, and I don't have to walk out of there and worry about if I hurt nobody's feelings or if anybody's going to judge me for it or nothing. Like, I leave it there, right? Correct. We let it out and I leave it there. But you can't do that with your friends. You can't do that with your spouse or whoever because they going to feel some type of way about it. Like, they care about you enough. They're going to feel some type of way. Therapy, nobody feels any type of way. You can say whatever and you leave and, nobody cares. Not in a sense of, they're going to say something about it later.
Correct.
So that, to me, that's freeing. Like, you don't have that space. Most people can't think of anybody they can be that transparent with.
Correct. I know people that are married and still cannot be that transparent with their spouse.
Because something's going to happen. Yeah. Like, if I say this, then they going to feel like this. Then here go a week of, whatever. So, yeah.
Or it's, what I've seen is like on Mad Day, I feel like people, they get mad and they just start blurting out the things that you told them in confidence,
Oh, that hurts, yeah.
And the therapist cannot do that because I'm going to take you to court, okay? No, I'm playing. But it can't happen in that therapeutic relationship because that's not their purpose.
And they're not attached to you enough to be that mad. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like, to ever get that mad at you. I'm never mad at my clients for anything that they do. They probably mad at themselves. But I'm never mad, So it's just different when it's people that you actually are involved with or in your life or whatever. It's way different. You're constantly having to sugarcoat.
Okay, so what are some things quickly that you feel like were maybe stereotypes about Black mental health that is not really the case as you've learned and you've grown into the field that you feel like, okay, let's break this down?
Stereotypes. The biggest one to me is in the church. As a Christian, I grew up a Christian. I still identify as Christian, but acting as though you don't have issues. Like, everybody has issues. Mm-hmm. I'm a therapist and I go to therapy because I have issues too. Like, life is, I'm not exempt from life just because I do therapy. So to me, that's the biggest stereotype, is that certain people have it all together and other people are completely falling apart. No, everybody got stuff going on. Mm-hmm. Some people just better at masking it in public than others. So that's like the biggest one. If we walked around and knew that everybody has something, people may be more inclined to go to therapy.
So are you saying that you feel like a lot of Christians don't go to therapy because, or what are you saying? Because
It's twofold. Okay. A lot of Christians don't go to therapy, in my opinion. For one, because they think we just going to pray about it and the Lord going to fix it. That's one side of it. The other side of that is that if I go to therapy, I'm admitting I have a problem and I don't want people to know I have a problem. So if they do go to therapy, they're not transparent about it. Like, I'm sitting on, your show now saying, oh, I go to therapy. Right. You're not really going to hear too many Christians say that. It's almost a negative connotation. Like, if you go to therapy, you crazy. Or I've even heard some people go as extreme to say you don't really trust God because you adding a therapist to the mix when you can just trust God to fix it, and you can have Jesus and a therapist.
Facts.
And so I try to advocate for stuff like that because I feel like people think that you got to pick, right? Like, if you're okay with going to the doctor and having Jesus, but like you say, you're not okay with taking care of your mental health and having Jesus. Like, somehow that's, contradictory. I don't know. So it's odd. Mental health is just like physical health.
Correct.
And the more we can get people to see that, I think the better we can address a lot of the stereotypes. But that's a big one.
I had to explain this to somebody just the other day. Like, we say mental health, but we're not really identifying that this is the brain.
Yeah.
Right? This is one of the most, if not the most vital organ in your body. Mm-hmm. I mean, your brain tells everything to do everything in your body. For the blood to flow, for your lungs to expand. Like, your brain tells. So to think that your brain doesn't get tired. Mm-hmm. And I mean, your brain is your thoughts. So you're thinking all the time, except for when you're sleeping. And most of us are dreaming in our sleep, right?
Yeah.
So there's never a time where your brain is just absolutely dormant. So to think that you don't need to take care of that, it's beyond
bizarre.
me.
It's
Yeah, like
bizarre for me
I
too.
can't even grasp not thinking that you need to take care of your brain. But when it comes to Christianity, I also am a Christian. I do feel like I have ran into a lot of people that have just had this thought process that you pray it out, have faith.
Yeah.
That's it. Mm-hmm. And I be praying and I be having faith and I still be like, I need some more.
Because they forget about that. Like, what happens in that interim between the time you pray and the time God answers the prayer? And then what if God answers the prayer and it's not what you wanted, right? Like, there's still like all of those feelings that you got to talk about. You got to deal with. Like, it's real. It's not just, oh, I pray and give it to God and go to sleep. No, I still be dealing with it. Like, on a daily basis, it still stresses me out. It still worries me. It still gives me anxiety, you know? Like, I don't know. And it's like I said, it's just almost like this little underlying thought process that something's wrong with me in my walk with God. Correct. Because I need to talk to somebody while I'm waiting on God, right? Like, I need to like work through all of that.
Nah, I'm just talking about these feelings. That's all I'm doing. I'm talking about the feelings. That's because regardless, God knows how I feel, so I need to talk about it.
Yeah.
But there's a prayer that my great aunt used to pray. My great Aunt Lena. She used to say, "Thank you, Lord, for waking me up clothed in my right mind."
That makes so much sense now, right?
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Especially being insight.
Yeah. My grandmother used to say that too. And I didn't get it then, but I did not. I am grateful for it now.
I did not.
Yeah.
But I have seen some people, and I mean, you know, we talking about from children to adults that have been through so many things and things that have literally broken them. Or, you know, you have so many mental health disorders like psychosis, schizophrenia, you know, that really take your brain to a whole nother place. And to be able to say that I'm thankful that I woke up in my right mind, it means so much now.
It does. When you're in this profession, it definitely means a lot.
But it goes back to just understanding that God knew that mental health disorders existed as well.
There's plenty of scriptures to support that, right? We ain't gonna go to church. But yeah, like just, you know, we got to be transformed by the renewing of our mind. Well, how do you renew your mind? You get better perspective from other people about how to behave, you know. So it's in the Bible, but they don't like to look at it like mental health, but it's there.
That's what it is.
Yeah, it's there.
So one thing that I think is kind of like my passion, and this is something that we work together on, is the stigma that our Black boys and our Black girls have ADHD in the amount of diagnoses that are out there. And one thing that you and I do, we have a training that we do for clinicians in the field in which we talk about the alternative interventions, working with children in inner city schools, but then also understanding that there may need to be another diagnosis because our children may not display the same symptoms as other kids when it comes to depression or when it comes to anxiety because they are not afforded those opportunities. I think that a lot of our Black kids, again, are either functioning in that fight or flight era of thinking, or they just don't know how to respond to their feelings because they haven't even been able to identify their feelings.
Yeah, and that goes back to your stereotype, what you're saying. Like, a big stereotype is that if I get a mental health diagnosis, I'm crazy, or people are going to look at me different or treat me different. When the reality is, when you get a diagnosis of diabetes, nobody treats you different. They expect you to take your insulin, take your medicine or whatever, and you go on with your life. And it could be the same way with a lot of mental health disorders if it weren't so many stereotypes that something, you know, is wrong with you or you're crazy, so to speak. But you're right. That's the biggest thing. I think they used to, when it comes to minority kids, they used to, like, if you have ADHD or you have behavioral issues, there weren't any therapists in schools because we know that's fairly new. Wasn't any of that. And they would just discipline you by suspending you, right? That's how we get to the place, especially in Texas, where now that you can't suspend certain kids up until like second grade or something.
Yeah.
Because they just started kicking them out. We're gonna suspend them because they misbehaving. Nobody ever stopped to like try to address the issue. And so now they're trying to address it, but there aren't enough mental health professionals in the school.
Right.
And then the teachers aren't trained. So the interventions are like hit or miss. And most of the time they're not in the minority schools at all. So it's just, I think they're moving in that direction to address some of the stuff, but it's just not enough.
It's not.
Not enough funding. It's not enough personnel to actually implement the interventions other than, suspending them or sitting them outside the classroom or whatever, like to actually address what's causing them to act this way.
Right. And not labeling them.
Yeah.
And that was the main point that I was making, is that our kids are labeled a lot to have only behavioral issues and not really looking at their behavior as an outcry for their mental health.
Right.
And so that's something I'm really passionate about. I think that it's important to have therapists that look like us for many different reasons. And that's one of the reasons.
Yeah.
So that we put out the information that's going to help our community. Neither you nor I would be in the positions that we are, especially from the company that we started it together, if we weren't in this to help make a difference in lives.
For sure. Gotta love what you do. That's for sure.
Yeah. And I think it's important to continue to get the information out. I think it's important. How do you feel about so many people talking about therapy now and like going to therapy? And it seems like it's like a really big
buzzword right now.
Right.
I love it. I love to see it. I just hope people don't look at it like a trend, but actually utilize it for what it could be, right? I think it's definitely a hot topic. COVID made it a huge topic because a lot of people were going crazy being in the house, and dealing with, family members that they're not used to being in the house with all day and, all that kind of stuff. And so I think it is great that it's so much of a spotlight on mental health, but I don't want to see it be another trending topic. I'd rather see people actually now recognize what it could be. And like, I'm so happy to see like a lot of employers are paying for sessions for their employees. Just different resources that weren't there before,
Absolutely.
So I think it's moving in a good direction. I think people are paying more attention to it. I just hope people are actually coming for the change and not coming because it's cool. Some people just, you go certain places because it's cool. I have a therapist because it's cool, but am I actually working to be a better me? Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's where I'm at with it. I am so glad that people are talking about mental health, mental wellness, and self-care, and getting their children into counseling. I just want people to also do the work because I think it's important for us to have these type of just conversations that are open and honest about this, because it helps people understand behind the scenes. You don't necessarily know what the therapist wants you to do all the time. And so we're really letting you all know we really want you to work. Like, we need you to work as well when you're going through therapy. And I always equate everything back to physical, because I think that that's what people are most comfortable with. So if you were given a diagnosis of diabetes, just walk out of the doctor's office and then that's it. Like, you have to change your eating habits. You then have to begin to change your exercise regimen. Then they also want you to take the medication. So it's a lot that comes into that. And so when we're saying do the work, that's what we're saying. We need you to also be a champion for yourself. Yeah, and take the steps. So I really appreciate this. What are some things right now that you're celebrating when it comes to mental health awareness? What are some things you want to leave the listeners with as far as getting in therapy or just mental health awareness month, all of that?
So one of the things is virtual therapy. I think, I started in virtual therapy before COVID and had a lot of pushback because people were like, I don't want to talk to you on a computer, or I don't want to talk to you from my phone or whatever.
Right.
And so one of the big takeaways is that it's out there and you're busy. You do everything on your phone. You don't always have time to drive across town to see your therapist. Like, really take advantage of virtual therapy options, because something's better than nothing, right? If you just, to me and to my clients, they get the same experience than, sitting on somebody's couch. It's not a difference. In fact, they enjoy it more because it's more convenient, right? Mm-hmm. So don't be afraid of that piece. Don't be afraid to get a therapist and actually do the work. Most of the time we complain about our lives and what's going on in our lives, but we really have the power to change it if we do the work. It's not just going to be handed to you. And I tell people all the time, having that conversation with a therapist, like you say, if you walk out and you don't implement any of that and you don't try to change anything, then you're going to come back in 2 weeks with the same thing, So definitely just utilize this time to really just get to know therapists in your area, start trying them out. Like I said, sometimes it takes 1 or 2 or 3 that you go through until you find somebody you fit with. But definitely check with your employers about free resources, because sometimes you can get it for free. I know some companies that are paying like 20 sessions for free for their employees. And so really utilize that resource, not just when something happens. Don't wait until it breaks or something breaks you down to address it. Find ways to cope with it along the way so that you can keep moving forward, regardless of what life throws you.
Absolutely. Again, this is May, Mental Health Awareness Month. I would just like to leave you all with going off of what Erica says, don't wait to the last minute when you feel like you're going to break. We are absolutely here in those moments as well. You can go to your ER. You have Suicide Hotline, which we're going to put all that information in the description below. But definitely make sure that you are keeping track of what your norms are so that you can get the help you need in between. Be proactive with your mental health awareness. Be proactive with your self-care. Be proactive in your child's mental health life, because we don't want to get to a place of breaking. Also, I want to, again, just help you guys to understand that therapy is for everybody. It's not just for somebody that has a mental health disorder diagnosis. You may not have ever been diagnosed before, but it is something that can help you in any stage of life, whether you're a child or you're an older adult. Geriatrics, I think that they have companies that are specific just to senior citizens. And so, you have therapy throughout life for many different reasons. You can look up your therapist specialty. Like I said, I work specifically with children. I think, Erica, your specialty is children, adults, depression, anxiety, things like that. So do your research when it comes to your therapist. Also have your support system with your friends and family. I am definitely an advocate of noticing things when it comes to my friends or family. I do not diagnose my friends and family, although I am a therapist. That is not my role in their life, but it is my role to say, hey, I'm kind of noticing that this has changed or that has changed. Have you talked to anyone? And so just be an advocate for your friends, be a support system. Please keep yourself healthy at all times, whether that's physical or mental, spiritual. Thank you for joining us again on the Black Celebration. I appreciate you. Erica, where can they find you?
Thank you so much. You can find me on Instagram at TaylorMadeCFS, Facebook, TaylorMadeCFS as well. And you can go to our website, www.taylormadecfs.org.
All right. Thank you. We're going to cheers. I'm almost done with mine.
Right.
Good night.
Good night.
What's up? It's Justice Tyreek, and I am back here with my good sis, Mish.
Hey.
And I'm here for another little piece of pop culture, baby.
Come on, pop.
Listen, because it's about to be summertime, honey. We got the thighs out. You know, we got the brows done.
And do.
Baby.
And do.
Listen, we coming for your neck this summer, honey.
I'm about to get these braids back.
Gotta do it.
Booty
Listen,
braids. We talking about braids down to my butt.
that's what I love to see.
Yes.
I really do. Yeah, I need to see all of it this summer. I can't wait. Ooh.
Me either.
I'm
and
just
it's starting
gonna-
to get hot now.
It is starting to get hot. I have to watch out for my hairline because you know it'll melt. But
Listen, we'll drink to that.
we will. Oh, thank you, Jesus. But we are so excited for the summer, and I feel like, you know, my rap mother, I would say, is now back, and I'm very excited about it.
Who's your rap mother?
Nicki Minaj.
Oh, okay.
You know, mother has come. She has released "Beam Me Up, Scotty," which is the old mixtape from, you know, back in the day. That's the one that got like Itty Bitty Piggy and stuff on it. And I listened to a couple of. You don't know what Itty Bitty? Ooh.
I have never listened to a Nicki Minaj album in my life.
Oh, okay.
I've heard the songs on the radio.
Why did that hurt like it was Beyonce? Ooh, who am I today? Well, she released that. I thought that it was going to be, you know, all new music, but it wasn't. There was, I think, 2 new songs, which is one that features Lil Wayne and Drake, I think, called Seeing Green. It's cute. And she has another song called Fractions. That one's all right. Or Factions. I don't know what it's called. I ain't gonna lie to you. But it's cute. It's cute, too. It gives me, you know, New York. It gives me Nicki. I enjoy it. Honestly, I'm very happy for her to be back. What?
Are you? Okay, so that's good because I just don't know, how do people feel about her releasing something that's basically already been released?
I mean, true. I'm excited about it because now you can stream it. But I'm like a regular fan. I'm not a barb.
Okay.
Not at all. Not in the slightest, because y'all are crazy. Listen, no. I can't do it. No, you're not about to be up here arguing with me. I don't understand why y'all feel the need to argue about. Do you see the stuff on Twitter about what these girls go back and forth? And when I say girls, I mean the gays, honey. That's what I mean. I mean the gays.
I honestly do not pay attention to the Barbs, the Navy, or the Beehive, because
I'm in the Beehive and I
you
don't pay
can
attention.
get caught up with that and these people will go crazy on you. So I just don't pay no attention.
They really
to any of
will.
it.
They will like obliterate you while you're like filing work papers. Like, we have jobs. Why are we? I'm not about to argue with you about a celebrity. Like, Nicki Minaj, her son probably sleeps in Fendi everything. Like on Fendi clouds, on Fendi balloons.
Facts.
Not balloons.
Sheets,
Pillows. That's what I
all
meant.
of
Thank
it.
you.
Yes.
Balloons. But I don't have that. I have to clock in, okay? I have to go to work and press clock in 12696 finger, okay?
Not
She don't.
the employee ID number.
Listen, that's what they know me as, okay? I know Nicki Minaj is Nicki Minaj.
That's what I'm saying. I cannot pay attention to it because, you know, every now and then it's like you'll see something and maybe you feel like you want to respond.
Yeah.
But I know these people will go ham on me while I have a student in my office and we talking about the fact that they didn't pass their math test. Next thing you know, my pictures are all over the internet. Like, I don't want no parts of it.
I feel like I leave it alone mainly because that's weird. I'm grown. I have a job. Secondly, I am glad that I stand Beyonce because I don't have to argue with you.
No, you don't.
There's nothing to argue about. Like, what are we doing? Like, there's not a comparison currently. There's just none. So I stand the best. So Nicki Minaj being the best, why do y'all feel the need to argue so much? I don't get it. I don't care about Cardi B. I mean, I love Cardi B's music. I don't care about that. I don't care about Remy Ma. I don't care about all the other stuff that they be having going on. I don't care. That ain't got nothing to do with me. All these people are rich, and I'm out here driving a Ford. Okay? So I'm not bothering these girls on the internet. I just don't get it. And this is fueled because I was dating someone and then I found out that they were a barb and I had to cut that off.
You broke it off?
32 years old. Why are you You're not about to yell at me on FaceTime at 2:00 in the morning.
About Onika.
Ma'am.
Relax.
You clock in at Aldi. She does not have to clock in for nothing. So please, we're not arguing about this. This is weird. That lets you know that you're not.
So all this arguing that people be doing, did she get good streams? Like, was the...
I think it said that it got 80,000 pure sales the first week, but to me, it can't really be the first week because it came out on Friday. I don't really know. It didn't really make sense to me, but I don't see why why it needed to make money if all the music was already out. It's not new music.
Right.
So I don't really care about the numbers anyway though, because as long as the music's good, that's all I really care about.
Okay.
I am going to argue about no charts because at the end of the day, the higher the chart position, the more money they make. Not a dang thing of that makes me stop eating Oscar Mayer.
You know,
because in my house, he has a way with BOLOGNA. That's all I'm trying to say.
I cannot. You are not eating bologna. You are not about to get on here on a black celebration and lie to these people like that. No. You are not eating bologna.
I eat bologna.
With the red.
Listen.
You take the red thing off.
Listen, little fried bologna sandwich. Try, you got to cut it. You got to cut the little pieces. You put it in a little skillet. And it goes shoo. A little mustard. I don't even like mustard. But a little mustard. Daughter. Period. I am very bouge, but that's still good. I don't even mind. Anyway, congratulations, Nicholas. I'm very happy that you're back. Your fans are... Nicholas. Yes. I'm Nicki Minaj, Nicki Lewinsky, Nicki the Ninja, Nicki the Harajuku Barbie. Like, I mean, I don't even know why you girls bother at this point. Anyway, I do sound like a stan. I'm moving on because
if we're being honest,
that just creeped me out. I ain't gonna lie to you. So from there, I'm gonna move on to Safari and Miss Erica Mena. Mena. I don't care. Love and Hip Hop fame. They are getting divorced after only 2 years of marriage. I can't say that I care. I'm not gonna lie. I just think it's very interesting because Erica Mena has dated a lot of people already in her short time. She's dated like Bow Wow, and then she got married to Safari. Now she's getting divorced from Safari. She's Rich Dollars. She was a lesbian at this point.
Oh yeah, since Santana. Yeah,
she was out here dyking. She was doing a lot, baby. Like I can say that word. I am a member of the Alphabet Mafia.
Stay tuned for next month. We are going to be talking about LGBTQ, and we will have all of that.
Period. So that's kind of sad. I feel like that's not a long time to get married. I don't feel like if I'm only going to be married 2 years, I don't want to be married. That's not long enough. Maybe, I guess you don't really know that going into it. But did they really think that they were going to be together forever, like grow old together? I know they didn't think that. I know they didn't think it because the money's going to go away and his hairlines are already, baby.
It's had its time.
They are already in checked baggage. They are on the way. They're in the U-Haul. Baby girl, they are ready to go. So I just, that's a little sad. I don't like when relationships end, especially marriages, because it's a little different. But I can't tell you that I was rooting for them. I was rooting for T.I. and Tiny, so I'm a little upset about this. I'm not going to talk about it. I can't tell you that I can. I just wanted to mention it because it's just so upsetting. It's so upsetting. We got to do better, y'all. Because now I got to treat, you mean to tell me I can't let my top down low? I can't let my, beat if my Kenwood high? You mean I got to treat that like Step in the Name of Love now? Come on, man.
Ain't no stand up. Ain't no get loose.
All of the good.
Ain't no get away. It's just.
And can I still patron escape? Can I do that?
Well, okay, so listen. I don't feel like the whole group needs to be held liable for her actions.
For her mistake. Okay.
So I feel like Escape should still get their money.
I was about to start singing a song, but it was not Escape. It was going to be 3LW. That's my fault. I'm very young and very naive.
They did have a Versus. Did you watch it?
No.
Me either.
What? SWV and Escape. I don't care about none of that.
People, listen, I was out and my friends was like, we need to be watching. Are y'all serious?
I was born in 1994. I do not care. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I mean, I was born 7 years before that, and I still didn't care. Like, I'm not like a fan. Like, I'm not a fan of anybody but Kendrick Lamar.
The only verses that I watched for real,
well,
yes, as you should.
Yeah,
those are good artists. I'm here for that. I mean, obviously, I stand Beyonce, but the only verses that I really cared about was Brandy and Monica, and I stood up the entire time. I was smoking hookah. I was drunk.
Really?
Because I was in my house talking about some. See, the next song I was finna sing was finna be Ashanti. I am horrible. I don't know the words to nothing. To be a singer.
Yourself, okay?
I got something to sing at this weekend. I ain't practiced the song at all. So
no, I really feel like Escape should still get their money.
I think they should. I mean, I definitely didn't watch that versus. I don't know. Escape should still get their coins. I'm very upset about, the king of the South. Oh, everybody want to be the king of the South. They ain't running the damn thing but they mouth. No doubt it's all good. Y'all just say y'all opinion. Anyway, it's very sad. I don't really want to think about it because it's a mess. And what am I going to do in Atlanta? Like, they run Atlanta.
Can I just be honest and say...
don't be too honest.
Okay, let me just say this. That is a part of one of the most... His music is a part of one of the most exciting times in my life, my childhood, my senior year of high school.
Oh, yes.
So there are so many memories that I have in my car that I feel like now they're tainted. Mm-hmm. It ain't like, tainted on like R. Kelly where I'm finding out that the song was really about somebody, but it's tainted in the space of like, I'm all about protect black women and I'm all about protect women, period. And
it's difficult.
Bruh, he literally has, and I tweeted this today, he literally has a line that says, freak by choice, not force, I will never be charged with a rape. If she say no, I'ma let her be. So how did we get here?
How did you get here?
Okay, that's all I have to say.
Nobody's supposed to be here.
That's all I have to say.
I'm very sad about that. I know Atlanta is going through it.
In shambles.
Oh.
Because, let me tell you why Atlanta is in shambles also, is because it's probably a whole bunch of other people that might come down.
Oh, I'm sure.
That is going to come down the pipe, So.
Listen, I don't need none of that to happen. Atlanta, I feel bad for you, although y'all got a lot of stuff going on. Because this Portia foolishness, baby, when I tell you I screamed, she said, thank you. How you going, she's engaged after a month? I think they said, engaged? Madam.
So how do you, okay, listen, I know the money, right? The money
is there. But she's not broke either.
She's not broke, but he's
definitely not
well off.
Mm-hmm.
He's still not very attractive.
No, he looks like a UPS truck. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's giving very United Parcel Services.
And somebody was like, oh, you know how Twitter can get sometimes. Somebody said something to the effect of, he looked like all of our daddies. My daddy don't look like that.
He don't look like mine.
First of all, don't look like that.
My daddy got hoes. You heard me? What are you talking about?
My daddy don't look like that.
No.
I'm sorry.
No. So she went out and got him them big old fake teeth.
Did.
I was like, now you could have got the deluxe version and not made them look like that. It looked like he got Toyota Corollas all across his mouth.
I
can't.
Okay, but do you feel like she was wrong?
Nope. I never claimed to be a good person. I'm here for a good time, not a long time. Okay? So I feel like I feel like you could do whatever you want to do. You're grown. He's growner because I mean, oh, that's not a word. I don't care. And they're not friends. I can tell you right now. I can probably check a few of my friends for doing the exact same thing. So, and they're just normal, and they're not doing it for money because their people be on the dart bus. No shade. I'm sorry. I'm not actually sorry. I don't care. What's up? Pull up. You ain't gonna do that. Anyway.
It won't.
At all. Double homicide.
I guess I just don't rock with Portia like that. So almost everything she does, I feel like is wrong. I do feel like she's wrong.
She is. It's not cute. I can tell you that. I mean, not to be 40 years old doing things of this nature is not cute.
Like, what's Jalen Rose doing? She couldn't get with Jalen Rose?
Who is that?
Oh, baby. Jalen Rose is the ex-NBA player. He is now a commentator. He is fine. And we talking about his real hairline is still there. We talking about a good head of hair, okay? We talking about fine. And he is not married.
She said his real hairline. You know, that was it for the piece.
No, for real. Like, it be people on Twitter or whatever saying, like, whoever does his hair is the god of haircuts because Jalen Rose, Jalen Rose. What's Jalen Rose doing? We can't get her.
Oh.
It's not no other NBA players.
I don't.
No other NFL players. Baseball
she would look good
players.
with the NFL player.
Evelyn Lozada, she was 40 and ended up finding her baseball player that didn't belong to anybody else. Had a son. They didn't get married, but...
No, but she getting that coin.
Correct.
He is very rich.
Come on,
He's very
Portia.
Rich. Could she be smarter with her vagina?
She's still in the runnings to have children. Like, you have to think about procreating with this person. No, she's not?
I think she's 40.
She's 40?
I'm pretty sure.
Really?
I think she is.
I
think she's out.
Kenya had a baby at 40-something.
Oh. I don't like
Candy
her.
just had a baby. She's 40-something.
Well, Candy is rich. Candy is different.
Ain't no doubt about that.
And I think her last one was a surrogate.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then she could do it that way. But still,
it's y'all genes. If you,
I don't know. Listen, I have never had to worry about that. So I don't really know how any of that works on either front. But
it would be her egg and his sperm. And I'm just saying, like, you think about genetics, that man is not attractive. And Portia is cute, but okay, I'm gonna stop talking.
Well, yeah, because the baby gonna come out looking like her sister. And listen, that's enough of that because I'm about to get mean. But that's the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And yesterday, I think they released the new trailer for Potomac. Do you watch Potomac?
I don't.
Girl, you gotta watch Potomac, Addie.
Really?
Yes, they're so bougie for no reason.
I guess I'm tired of reality TV.
Oh, well, see, I like reality TV because all I do is go to work, get on my computer, do some schoolwork, go to sleep, and do it again. So I gotta have something to entertain me.
It's entertaining.
Because my life don't have no drama, thank you, Jesus. Because I ain't one of these queens out here fighting in the club. We ain't finna do that. I shuts that down real quick, honey. I have nothing to fight about. So I like to watch the rich people fight. Well, rich. They be frightened. Because them girls was just driving Ford Fusions in the first 2 seasons. Now they got Range Rovers and Bentleys. I said, y'all done, yes, y'all better go from $1,700 because they went from $1,700 an episode to probably $5,000 an episode. I understand. It's fine. But the new trailer came out, and I'm kind of excited about it. I'm a little mad that my good sis, I'm calling her my good sis, and I forgot her name. Monique. She's not on the show anymore.
Oh, she was cute.
She was gorgeous, for one. But I'm confused because Candace with an unnecessary I in the name, I saw her throwing, like, salad at somebody. Like, what's happening here? I don't understand. You just got in a fight. You just got mollywopped down at the wine cellar. And the whole season was about abuse or whatever. Talking about control your hands. It was a mess. She cries every single
episode.
And it's so funny because she take the little napkin and she folds it up and she puts it right up in here
In the crease.
in the tear duct just to get it to try to cry cute so her makeup don't come down. But I'm confused as to why you throwing mixed greens at a mixed girl. I was very confused because that light-skinned lady didn't look like she did nothing to you. I mean, she threw the greens first. I ain't gonna hold you. I don't like Candace, and she has an unnecessary I in her name.
Where's the I at?
It's Candiace. Candiace. Why is it there? It's stupid. It's dumb. I don't like it, but I'm excited the show comes out July 11th, I believe. I want to say.
I would have to go back and watch all the seasons first.
Do it, please do, because I'm here for it. I'm gonna watch because I ain't got nothing to do. So why not?
Did you watch the Upshaws?
No, I saw
It's so cute.
Somebody recommended it to me, but what is going on? Somebody recommended it to me, but
Pause, because this is getting on my nerves. It's a gnat. I got it.
I was trying so hard to avoid it. I was trying to ignore it.
Sorry, Corey. I should not ignore it because it's all in my face.
All right now, braids.
Okay, where was we at?
Dee done got her some.
Okay, she got not list.
I don't
Okay.
know. They look great.
They do. Oh, the Upshaws. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
So, did you watch the Upshaws?
Child, Netflix has been recommended to me. Is it Netflix?
Yeah.
It's been trying to get me to watch it, and I still have Wanda Sykes, and I wanted to watch it, but somebody told me it was bad. Somebody else told me it was good, so I just started watching Scooby-Doo instead.
It's good to me. It's a sitcom, so it's like, but it's a sitcom where they actually curse because it's on Netflix,
it's on Netflix.
so they can curse.
True.
But it's good. I guess, like I said, I'm tired of reality shows, and I like seeing black people on screen. So, and it's like a black family that's not super perfect,
Oh, mood.
right?
Mood.
So it's a little drama-y.
Same.
Yeah. So I like it.
I haven't watched it. I need to watch it. I just finished. This is not black people at all, but The Flight Attendant on HBO Max. Baby, I stayed up until 2:00 in the morning the other day watching that show. It's so good.
Why did I watch Flight the other day
I don't know what that is.
with Denzel Washington where the plane went down?
Oh, I
And
need
now
to
I'm scared because I got to get on a plane tomorrow.
in the morning when I rise.
Right.
Ooh, it's all right. You know, I got to be on a couple planes in June and July, and then I'm trying to get out the country in August. I ain't got no PTO for this. I don't know what I'm doing. I need to sit down, but I can't. I cannot. I can't. So yeah, that is a mess. Potomac, we'll see if she comes back. I don't know if she's gonna be giving. What do you say? I don't know if it's gonna give what's supposed to have been gave.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see, because they're just very light and bright, and apparently ready for a fight. So we'll see. And I'm just gonna view. I can't wait, and I'll talk about it. I'm gonna talk about it because I do not like Robin. I was gonna say the H word, but I'm trying not to say that. I stan Karen Huger because she's
All
funny.
I want to know is Jamal coming?
Of course not.
I never even watched that show.
It's so
but
funny.
is Jamal coming? It's so funny.
It's so funny.
And when I found out that he was a pastor and a Kappa in Atlanta, I said, oh, girl.
Child. Chico stick out there and everything. You hear me? But we ain't going there. We don't do that on this here program. So that's it for Potomac, but I'm seeing a lot of foolishness on Twitter right now about a new Versus. With Bow Wow, you just don't know. And Soulja Boy.
Soulja Boy, tell him.
And I'm just very confusion.
Why? You don't think that's a good matchup?
No. Isn't the rules for 20 songs? Who's going to watch this? Bow Wow got 8.
Bow Wow has 20 songs.
20 good ones.
I ain't never had nobody show me.
That's cute.
Show me what you... He got a lot because he has features.
Oh, and he got Shorty Like Mine.
Yep.
Only thing that keep me up when I'm feeling down. I don't really...
Don't they have a song together? I feel like they probably have a song together. Like
they have to.
They're animated stuff.
Ooh, Soulja Boy has Kiss Me Through the Phone.
That's their song together, right?
Is it?
Oh, no, I'm making that up.
Soulja Boy got that. He got whatever the dance song is called. Soulja Boy, what is that? What is do the Soulja Boy? Crank that Soulja Boy. Crank that Soulja Boy.
Yeah.
He got I got me some bathing apes.
And she got a don't. She got a don't. Ooh. She got a don't. She got a don't.
Oh, which Nicki Minaj sampled on her mixtape.
She did.
Itty Bitty Piggy, the song that you
and
don't know.
And he has that song that Carrie, I don't know that song.
Oh, Turn My Swag On.
Yeah.
Hopped up out the bed. Oh, Beyonce sampled that.
Turn My Swag On.
Beyonce sampled that for 2 seconds, so you're not getting your money, but it's fine. I don't know if I'm going to watch this.
I haven't really watched Versus since we was actually in quarantine.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we live in Texas, so the pandemic is over, baby. Over. Honey, my job today, they said, take your mask off. I said, all right. I'm over it. I'd be like, you know, whatever. We're let's just Stanley steam through the rest of this. Everybody else get their shots so we can go out.
Get your shots.
I'm trying to be at the brunch, baby. Listen, I'm trying to be at the Darty.
But you're not gonna be at the Versus.
Hell no.
I'm not gonna watch it, but
I'm gonna watch the tweets. I'm gonna watch the tweets. I'm gonna see what Twitter's talking about that day. I don't even know when to come on. I don't even care.
Me either. Because
I know probably a collective 7 songs from the both of them. Less Bow Wow songs, I think, because he's a little. I think he was famous when I was a little too young. Like the songs when he was a kid, I don't really know. Like Lil Bow Wow, you just don't know the way you move so fast for love.
Yeah,
that's a very weird video, by the way. I watched it the other day. I don't like it. No, because those women are grown. I think that's odd.
Okay.
I don't like that. I don't like it. That has nothing to do with this. But
I don't even remember the video. I was never on Lil Bow Wow because I think Bow Wow is maybe like 5 months older than me. But he was always short. I
was going to say, he's probably 5 inches shorter than you.
And he is.
At least.
I was like up close with him in Atlanta when I lived out there, and he's a little person. Oh. So I just was never into Bow Wow because you're little.
I mean, that doesn't really bother me. Hit me up. But it's the lying for me. When you remember he used to get caught posting, excuse me.
You talking about
the fake planes? He'd be like, he said he was on first or on a private jet, and somebody was like, nah, this right here
in code.
He had this man in 13A. like what you talking about? You ain't even in economy plus, baby. Like, cut it out. So I don't know. I never really featured him like that, but I can't tell you that I'm gonna watch it. Can't tell you that I care. So I bid you well, because I ain't gonna watch none of that. But
I'm not,
child.
I was never in a Soulja Boy like that either.
He does a lot of drugs. That's all I know about him.
He looks like it.
Yes, it's the book of sugar.
I'm glad. Speaking of sugar, have you heard of Kimi Casanova?
No.
Akeem Ali? So I'm not gonna tell the story, but there is a really, really funny story of how I ended up at his like private party in Dallas. So Akeem Ali is a rapper from Jackson, Mississippi. Really nice. Look his music up. It's bomb. Kimi Casanova is the song that I really like. But either way, listen to his music.
Well, let's
ended
check
up
that
at
out.
the party, and he was really, really cool.
Oh, I love him.
And he has a song called Sugar.
Sugar.
Yeah.
Sugar, sugar, how you get so fly? Well, honey, listen. Unfortunately, we're ending with the flops of Bow Wow and Soulja Boy, but that is really all I have for the piece of pop culture because the pop streets have not been giving anything.
They haven't.
But I try my best.
And that's okay because it's about to be summertime
It's
and they
about
really
to
gonna
be
give y'all
the summer, baby.
a show.
Listen, I'm finna go get. I started keto. I'm getting my teeth whitened in 2 weeks. Listen, if my hair is turning gray, but we ain't gonna worry about that. It's gonna be spray painted, just like everybody else's, like Safaris. So I'm coming for the summer. Probably my body's not gonna be ready until the summer of 22. But you know they gonna get whatever is under these clothes.
Oh, you're gonna get the body I give. I mean, I do work out, but
I don't work out. I diet.
I eat a lot. Oh,
Don't
see,
do
we do the opposite.
I'm too lazy to be
You
going to the
diet,
gym. And then
and
people
I
be
work
too
out.
fine. I am a whore. So I cannot go to the gym and then be fine, baby. No, ma'am. Because I will follow you to the lot. No, let me shut up.
I'm not.
I got to go. Just in case my mama watch this.
You know what? They recycling artists on versus
Shut up.
trying to revive
Shut up. I hate you for this.
Bow Wow and Soulja Boy. We are recycling the McBride sisters, Sparkling Brut Rosé this month. Check back next month because we may have a new bottle, but I need my black champagne enthusiasts and owners to bring us some new bottles. Either way, it does its thing. It does what it gives what it's supposed to have gave.
And I'm finna get a little bit more.
Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next month. Bye.
Brat-tat-tat-tat.